Ubisoft has trotted out another of their 20,000 employees. This time it's the Assassin's Creed Shadows art director to address criticism the game has faced from people like Elon Musk as well as Japanese gamers. And he's basically just stating the party line. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Roll this up over at thatparkplace.com. And the art director, Thierry Dansereau, recently addressed the numerous criticisms the game has faced from people like Elon Musk, Japanese gamers, and more regarding the developers' creative choices, specifically his decision to make Yasuke and Naoi the main characters in the game set in feudal Japan, rather than a male Japanese character. So we are going to be providing some context, but I'm not going to go point by point on everything because there's so much to go over. But let's focus here on Elon Musk real quick. Back in June, if you recall, Elon Musk reacted to the revelation that Assassin's Creed Shadows would feature a gay Yasuke as one of the main protagonists, writing this: DEI kills art, short and sweet. Ubisoft initially responded to this via the Assassin's Creed Shadows boss, Mark Alexis Cote. Hilariously, the guy admitted he was emotionally broken by Elon Musk posting DEI kills art. I mean, this guy said he was emotionally broken. This is what he told GameFile. That tweet generated emotions that the first thing I wanted to do was go back on X that I had deleted and just tweet back. And I just took a step back. I have a mindfulness app on my phone, and I did a bit of mindfulness to try to explore the emotions that this tweet created. I mean, what? Just bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. He literally tweeted DI kills art. This guy's busting out an app because he's so emotionally distraught to try and get himself back in a right frame of mind. He just literally was broken by Elon Musk speaking the truth about this game. He then accused Elon of feeling hatred while at the same time indicating he had a bunch of hateful 3-word replies he wanted to send. I mean, what do these people do? They lie, they double down, and they project. Already jumping to the project phase right here. He says, for me, Elon, it's sad. He's just feeding hatred, lies. I had a lot of 3-word replies that came to mind. Projection. He's literally projecting what he was feeling that he wanted to direct at Elon onto Elon. You literally can't make this stuff up. I mean, these people are so fake, so transparent, and dare I say evil at this point. I mean, it's hard not to describe them as that because they lie so often and they try to accuse you or us of what they are actually the ones guilty of feeling and doing. Nevertheless, Cote continues saying, by attacking someone like Elon, I will not convince people about our point of view as a team. He believes that players will be convinced of whatever his team's point of view is. He does not provide any details on it within the first 15 minutes of the game. He said this: Yasuke is very, very grounded in the history of the franchise and how we make our choices. We've got a super mysterious historical character from which not much is known about. And for us, it was what we want in Assassin's Creed. They literally always have main protagonists being fictional characters. Instead, they actually use a real life historical figure for this game. We know that they did this because they were pushing the DEI woke agenda. It is all over their website. They literally are promoting a mentorship program now that excludes men. That is how invested this company is in the DEI and woke agenda. That is why they chose Yasuke. There is no other reason, despite what they say. At least that's my opinion. He then continues saying, what Elon says is not the game that we're building. People will have to play the game for themselves. And if within the first 11 minutes and 47 seconds, they're not convinced of what we're doing, we can have the discussion. I was reviewing the game very recently, and I was like, the answer is there. I just hope and wish that people can keep an open mind about this and see the game for what it is. It's an Assassin's Creed game, and I believe the best one we've ever built. So not only did Elon Musk criticize them, and we already got a response from Ubisoft, but we also had this criticism here from Japanese YouTuber Shoei Kondo. He actually called on Ubisoft to immediately discontinue the game and explained, we are protesting marketing DEI's historical distortion stemming from their disregard for Asians and their arrogance and discriminatory responses to protests from Japan. If you want to go into further details, I will have the link to this article in the description below so you can watch his video there. So this brings us to Thierry Dansereau. He spoke with Eurogamer and addressed these criticisms and others, telling the outlet, of course, we're making creative choices. It's a video game in the end. So we want to make the best experience as possible for our players. That is why they completely subverted expectations of what people wanted from a Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan. Instead of giving us what we all wanted, a male Japanese samurai or ninja, they gave us Yasuke, an African man, and now a female Japanese woman. So they are not trying to give the best experience for players possible. They are trying to push the DEI and woke agenda. That is exactly what they are doing. These people lie through their teeth, and they think that we are going to believe it. Well, no, we're not. You would have thought they would have learned that lying does not work given the poor sales for Star Wars Outlaws, and they might course correct. Nope. What did I say? What do these people do? They lie, they double down, and they project. Doesn't matter about the truth. They don't care about the truth. Dan Saru continues saying, we've worked with a lot of experts to just understand well the time period. We did a lot of our own work, so we're making sure we depict this world in a respectful way while fulfilling the gameplay needs and making it entertaining. The experts these people have worked with, at least that we know that they've confirmed we work with, are suspect at best. Obviously, there is the one woman who works at Dartmouth who has weird dissertations on what monks did with boys. And then you got the Yasuke peddler. Can't even remember his name off the top of my head right now. I know I've got him here in one of Thomas Lockley. There he is. I knew I had him in like one of the related links. Thomas Lockley, who literally just like created an entire fan fiction, has been gaslighting people from the very beginning. We know they worked with him, and he's been absolutely had his reputation demolished by real Japanese historians on Yasuke, who I think one of the main historians has basically said this guy was not a samurai, despite Ubisoft describing him as a historic legendary samurai. This Japanese historian is like, no, he's not. He was more like a bodyguard and entertainer than anything else. Nevertheless, Don Spruce says, we've worked with Osaka and Tokyo studios who've acted as consultants. One of their art directors is involved in doing research in the field. We went there. We did a field trip as well. And we have Japanese experts living in Japan. We use them a lot to look at our assets. They play the game and provide feedback. Well, don't think they've been providing very good feedback, because I know one of the things that a lot of Japanese gamers have criticized this game for is how they depict the seasons. And this is something that Ubisoft is praising. Like, look at our engine and how we are able to change the seasons and all of this stuff and the weather and how it affects the game. Well, Japanese players are like, why are there cherry blossoms here? What's going on with these rice fields? This is not when they should be happening during this time of year. This is absolutely wrong. Did you actually come to Japan? So Japanese people have been calling this narrative out. I think that's what this is. This is a narrative. They're saying we have all of these experts, but we know the experts they do have are suspect. And I think in Lockley's case, unreliable. Unreliable, I guess, probably an understatement, but definitely unreliable. Nevertheless, not only did Dowsaru address the criticism from Elon Musk, from Japanese gamers, and I think from people in the West as well, like myself, but he also addressed Ubisoft's statement that it released to Japanese players in July. Quick recap here. The statement began by making it clear it was addressing the Japanese community and noted it had received praise and criticism from them. It then kind of said how they had all of these, wanted to respect Japan, and they had all of these researchers and people that they were working with to get the game going. It says here, our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians, researchers, and internal teams at Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices. Dancer's comments earlier sound extremely familiar to this statement, right? It's almost like he is talking the party line, the corporate line. These are the PR talking points that he was told to discuss. And he's basically just repeating what Ubisoft already said. Moving on here, it says, despite these sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements in our promotional materials have caused concern within the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. Like, they don't even apologize for what they've done. They're just apologizing for the concern they've caused. Like, what? Just absolutely fake. So disingenuous. Like I said, these people don't actually care about the truth whatsoever. All game footage presented so far is in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch. Based on the constructive criticism we have received, we will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. Like I said, people are we're criticizing the seasons and stuff. They just released a new trailer on the seasons this week, and those criticisms still stand. Like, they haven't changed anything whatsoever regarding like the cherry blossoms, the rice fields, etc. Those are all still being criticized for being happening in the wrong season in Japan. It then asked players to criticize Ubisoft rather than any consultants the company worked with, claiming that the consultants are in no way responsible for the decisions that are taken by the creative teams in the interests of gameplay and entertainment. That's absolutely 100% bogus. These consultants were clearly paid to provide their feedback, and they are responsible, I think, if they convinced Ubisoft to put Yasuke in the game and giving him all this information about Yasuke that was completely and utterly fake. So that's just ridiculous. Ubisoft then detailed the creative liberties it was taking. While we strive for authenticity in everything that we do, Assassin's Creed games are works of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. From its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements to craft engaging and immersive experiences. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. So they actually did have to admit that because the backlash was so bad and likely was affecting their pre-order sales significantly. I don't think that this statement probably boosted those pre-order sales at all. I think it probably had them go get even worse, given the fact that Japanese people were like, what are you even doing here? This is absolute garbage, complete, utter nonsense, fake apology, not a non-apology. We have woven this carefully into our narrative, and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Naui, who is equally important in the game, our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts respectfully. While we understand that meeting everyone's expectations is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication, effort, and passion we have poured into it. So that was their statement. Dance Crew responded to this or addressed it, saying there was a letter published by Ubisoft apologizing to that group of people in Japan. So I don't even know if he's talking about this statement, because there was another actual Ubisoft Japan statement where they did apologize for literally stealing the banner from the reenactment group there. They stole their banner, put it into the game. So they apologize for that. So I don't know if he's talking about that or if he's actually talking about this. I assume he's talking about this big statement here because he goes on and says this. But something they need to know is we are working with experts, world-renowned experts. And if we have any way offended people, we are sorry, but this is not the goal. So he keeps saying that they worked with these experts. Well, why don't you name them? Who are these experts? Why don't you name the experts? Because the ones that we do know are, like I said, unreliable at best. We've paid a lot of attention to stay as respectful as possible to Japanese culture, but creative choices are made on our side based on all the discussions we had with our own group of experts. We're confident with how the game will be received. So basically just stuck to the corporate line, the party line, didn't really address these statements at all. I don't expect them to. They don't really, like I said, these people don't really care about the truth. They're just trying to assuage people's concerns that they created, as they noted in that statement there. But regardless of his confidence in how the game will be received, I don't think the rest of the company actually agrees with that. Mainly because Guillemot here, the CEO, Ubisoft's CEO, Yves Guillemot, was actually asked during an earnings call about the potential for Assassin's Creed Shadows. And he said this: as we mentioned, we expect Shadows to be the most ambitious title of the series. We also anticipate that Star Wars, that is usually a very strong brand around Christmas, should do very well with the busy season, with a strong impact also from, couldn't understand what he was saying there when I transcribed that, content from both games. And also we expect further growth from Rainbow Six Siege, as well as a strong impact of Shadows on the back catalog of Assassin's Creed, plus the contribution of X Defiant. When he was asked if it would be the best-selling Assassin's Creed game, he said this: at this time, we can say we expect Assassin's Creed to be among the high sellers of the company so far. So not going to be the best-selling game, high sellers of the company so far. Kind of punted on that question. Very ambiguous answer there. Leads one to wonder how well it's really going to be doing. That doesn't speak of the confidence that Thierry Dansereau here was talking about. And finally, to conclude that Eurogamer piece, he did admit that people on the Assassin's Creed team have been affected by the criticisms of the game. Albeit he says he is personally unaffected, but he said this: it's a personal question. It's up to everyone to see. Do you read all the stuff that's coming out? Are you spending a lot of time on social media reading all the comments? Are you staying focused? I know some people who get affected. Obviously, what is it? Kote, we talked about earlier, was clearly affected, emotionally broken, had to bring out some app to like bring him off the ledge. Social media platforms are a free space where people can do what they want. Increasingly, not so much anymore. I think X is probably the exception to that. At the same time, we're very focused on shipping this title on this last mile, polishing the quality as much as possible. We know we have a great game in our hands. We're proud of that and should stay proud of this game we've made, is what he concluded. So I do want to go back to kind of the sales stuff here. We also have this rumor here from Stutter and Craig who hosts and owns the Side Scrollers podcast. He says the pre-orders are not looking good. He says, my insider told me that as of this morning, at their nationwide big box chain, Assassin's Creed Shadows has less than 800 pre-orders combined for Xbox and PlayStation 5 company-wide. They have over 900 stores. This is less than one pre-order per store. Yikes. This was at the end of August, about 2 weeks ago. But not looking good for Assassin's Creed Shadows. And their art director, I don't think, did a really good job of addressing any of these points. Looks like he was just repeating what they had stated in that statement back in, I think it was the end of July, is when they posted this to X. So kind of just repeating what we had already seen. But I think this just kind of dredges up all of the lies that Ubisoft and the people working on Assassin's Creed Shadows have made, and kind of just brings all of that back to the forefront. They would be better off, honestly, not doing any interviews, just staying silent and just running ads or whatever, and not actually trying to address any of this stuff anymore. I think that would be the best option for them, because at the end of the day, now they are, again, just reminding people, bringing it back to their forefront about just how much they lied, how much they disrespect people, and how much they honestly just do not care whatsoever, and how much they are converged and are pretty much just now a woke DEI company, and that's all that they can do now. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.